This is painful, and it will be for a long time. But I want you to remember this. Our campaign was never about one person or even one election. It was about the country we love and about building an America that's hopeful, inclusive, and big-hearted.
Hillary Clinton speaking this morning after conceding the election. Every election has winners and losers, so we sent News 2's Macy McLeod to explore ways to overcome election letdown.
We saw the tears fall across the country.
I've been crying since last night, on and off.
I couldn't take it anymore. It was making me physically ill.
These Hillary Clinton supporters tell me they are less upset that their candidate lost and more worried that Donald Trump won.
He stands for racism, he stands for bigotry, he stands for sexism, he stands for ableism, he stands for homophobia. Like, I could just keep going, you know? So I think that's what's really upsetting is I really feel like my life is in danger.
Therapists tell me this is normal. After an election, people can see signs of depression and anxiety.
The losses are the life that we thought we were going to have, the changes that we thought would take place.
There are 3 ways to cope. The first is to continue with your daily routine.
It can't be that we just stay in the house and say, okay, this is upsetting and depressing and I'm just so overwhelmed. We have to come out and get back into our lives.
Second, don't fixate on the negative.
Acknowledge that, okay, I'm sad here. Do some things that you typically do when you are sad. But by all means, do not hyper-focus on this because it's just going to continue your state of anger and upsetness and also the anxiety.
And third, instead of focusing on a result now out of your control, focus on changes you can control.
We need to settle ourselves, soothe ourselves, and then take some steps to do what we can do to change it for us. And so there are always things that we can do as individuals.
And she said one example of this is if you're concerned about losing resources, for example, to maybe fund your child going to college, start thinking about that now and maybe, to help yourself feel a little better, start looking into scholarships. So if you're afraid those resources are going to be gone, then you're already working to kind of replace that hole that you think is eventually going to come into your life.
In other words, do something. Right?
Exactly. Do something that's going to make you feel better and make some changes that you think are already going to be changing.
Of course, this was a very polarizing election, a polarizing campaign, but there are people who are very happy today. And then as we saw, some people are quite upset.
Yep.
And some people very visibly upset. So in cases like that, what should they do in terms of trying to resolve some of their issues and not being so upset?
Well, as we said, it is about moving on. So she was telling me it is very normal, the therapist we talked to today. She said it is normal. It even happens with sports teams. If you're very invested in a sports team and they go to a big championship and they lose, you're so emotionally invested in that sports team or that candidate that it can lead to sometimes depression and anxiety. The important thing is feel sad about it, move on, make some changes, and kind of start to get over it.
Kind of a good lesson for college football fans.
There you go. It's relevant this season as well.
It
applies in a lot of different ways.
Sure
All right,
does.
Macy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Macy.